Hello. Uh, Nelson and I were meant to record part two of the pod today, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Busy man, a lot of plates to juggle at work. So we're going to roll ahead, not to complete the same pod we were going to complete, but we are going to give a very, very rash, very early, not power rankings, but playoff picture. So I'm going to look at all the teams in the East, look at all the teams in the West, and try and plot where I think they might fall in the scheme of things after 82 games. And serendipitously, it's wear your sports team to school like fundraising day today. So I'm in all my Blazers gear. Talking about NSL, it just makes a lot of sense. So yeah, there's been a heap of movement. I myself have been in a few trades this week, even like the off season sort of wound down, and a few other GMs, myself included, have been able to keep the juice flowing a little bit in terms of transactions. But lots of teams look different than the way they ended last season. So I thought we could take a look at where I see teams ranking in the standings for both conferences. Let me just find it. Conference. Okay. Now, I've done power rankings in the past. They're never accurate. There are always, I'd say, 20% of the teams surprise for better or worse, respectively. But it's a great thought exercise. It's a great way to get people discussing the NSL. It's a great way to spark some people into action. Um, so we look at the standings from last year. We have Washington in first place, and I don't really disagree with that. If everyone's healthy, I think they've got the best three in the whole league. So I'm going to put Washington. They can stay at one. Um, After that, we had Milwaukee. I can't see anyone displacing them. Like, not much has changed, but they had a title-winning team. Like, you don't have to mess with the formula too much. Ethan's made some moves, but he's also got six, seven, eight spots to fill through free agency, which he should do pretty well. He'll have a good free agent algorithm. So I'm giving respect to that Bucks team. I see the Bucks in second. We go to third. Now, some might say Philly overachieved a bit last year through Fox and just the chemistry really coming together for them. But they've gotten better. The trades they've made this offseason, they're better than they were last year. So we've got a Philly team that has Porzingis and Jalen Green for De'Aaron Fox. I think that was kind of like the trade. They've gotten Draymond Green in. They were able to condense. Like Ben had so many different assets. They've now been able to condense. But I think that's big. I think they look a lot better. I'm just scanning down. Are Boston better than Philly? More talented, yes. Better, don't know. Cleveland, don't know. Raptors, yes. All right. So I'm going to move Toronto up into third, and I'm going to move Philly into fourth. But Philadelphia um get a top four seed. After that, you've got Boston, who would have been bumped down one spot. Boston in fifth, I can pay that. Boston in fifth. Who are we left with? Cleveland, Indiana, New York are obviously dropping a lot. Brooklyn, Charlotte are rising. Miami rising. Chicago, Orlando, TBD a little bit, but have gotten better. Detroit rising. Hawks, TBD. So that sixth spot, tough. Maybe Detroit. She's got a lot of history of being very good at building a team that does very well. So maybe we're going to put Pistons back sixth spot. Seventh, that leaves us with Cleveland, Indiana, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Miami. I'm going to back Miami. I think Miami seventh. And Who have we got? Cleveland, Indiana. This is where it's really hard to pick. Charlotte. Who's better out of Indiana, Charlotte, Cleveland? I'm gonna. Gosh, that's hard. Let's just go from seven. Let's go seven through 10. It can be the plain bracket. So I don't have to split those hairs and save the feelings of some people. So let's just go the 7 to 10 range. I've got Miami in there, Indiana, um, Charlotte, and Brooklyn. Yep. So the plain range, Miami, Indiana, Charlotte, and Brooklyn. And this leaves the just remaining the 5 teams that missed the playoffs. Um, even yeah, some of those deserve the play-in too. I think safely can say Atlanta miss the playoffs. Um, New York obviously missed the playoffs because Smokey's just yeah thrown the anchor down really hard in New York for a rebuild. And that leaves us with Chicago, Orlando, and one other team. Oh no, I've missed Cleveland. I think I have to put Cleveland in instead of Brooklyn. Sorry, Bo. I mean, that's obviously going to be wrong. I've changed, yeah, Miami, Indiana, Charlotte, Cleveland in the play-in, Atlanta, New York. Oh, someone. Yeah. I don't, Nets don't fit in the bottom five, so they can move back into that playoff play-in bracket as well, and those teams can just battle it out. So I've got the top 6 teams: Washington, Milwaukee, Toronto, Philly, Boston, Detroit. And then I have the teams that I think are battling it out in the play-in. Um, Miami, Indiana, Charlotte, Cleveland, Brooklyn. Actually, I think Detroit's too high. I think we slide. I'm going to put Charlotte in sixth and Detroit in the playoff bracket. Yeah, I like that better. So Washington, Milwaukee, Toronto, Philly, Boston, and Charlotte top 6. Play-in bracket: Miami, Indiana, Detroit, Cleveland, Brooklyn. Very comfortable with that. Missing out on the playoffs and the play-in: Atlanta, Knicks, Chicago, Orlando. Now that's absolutely not going to be correct. Um, but I'm happy with that take. So I will I'll write the results in the article when I post it. But we have Washington, Milwaukee, Toronto, Philly, Boston, Charlotte, avoiding the play-in and making the playoffs. Miami, Indiana, Detroit, Cleveland, Brooklyn battling it out, and then I see them in a tier of 5, and then Atlanta, New York, Chicago, and Orlando missing the playoffs. Hold on. So we move out west. Last year, we got the Lakers on top and the Golden State at the bottom. Now, it's probably similar in terms of some fallers, some risers. Not too many teams that have really flipped their trajectory. Like in the East, Miami was a really buyer, but then New York was the seller. So that value hasn't swung too much outside of those 2 teams, I don't think. I look at the West, the Lakers. I still think they finish like we could give them top because of such a great year. Second, we have Mini. I see Mini slipping. Spurs are West royalty. I see Spurs. Let's put Spurs in 2. I think Utah better than they even were last year. Let's put the Jazz in 3rd. Yeah, so it's just really mini sliding. Um, 4th, I've got Pels. I think that Pelicans team looks great. The Jazz, really great team. Um, Houston, I mean, Houston are now having 390 rated players who've hopefully been given a bit more love. I think we can put Rockets into five. Okay, the last team before the play-in. We have OKC to pick from. We have Denver, Memphis, and that's probably it. Denver, OKC, and Memphis. The best team out of that, probably OKC. No, I'm gonna back Rootsy to bounce back. I think Memphis, they could even challenge for fifth. So I'm gonna go Memphis in sixth. Seven, 7 through 10, the playing range. That means OKC would finish seventh, and I would see Denver finishing eighth. LA Clippers in that range. I think they'll add a good free agent. I know I've got to let one of my bigs go, who I think would just be so great for Clippers if he ends up going that way. So I see LAC firmly in the play-in range. One more play-in team to choose from out of Portland, Phoenix, Clippers, Sac. I think it's Phoenix. Yeah, two offensive stars who are going to eat a lot. Plenty of usage, plenty of shots, and Dame will get some of his luster back this season. I think in terms of how he's viewed. That means the teams that miss out, we have yours truly, Portland. Not even mad. We have Kings. We have Warriors, Mavs, and no, what? I missed Minnesota. No, all right. So something's got to give. So I've totally forgotten about Minnesota. Even if the GM is on total autopilot, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, like I've messed this up. Um, I think it bumps the Clippers. I think I'll put the mini team in the playing range. That's a great playing team. Yeah, the West is ridiculous. I'm going to move LAC to the miss the playoffs range, but just I might even put them. No, actually, they're not going to miss. I'm going to have them firmly in the playing range, just like I did with the East. The teams that I do not think will make the play-in or the playoffs: Portland, Sac, Golden State, and Dallas. So I got Lakers in first. It all depends if they get their big man back. If they don't, I see them sliding, but not out of the top four. I just see them sliding. That top four is safe for me. Lakers, Spurs, Jazz, Pelicans. I think that's the top four. Rockets and Memphis are too good for the play-in, I think. And that leaves Thunder, Nuggets, Wolves, Suns, and Clippers in that bracket of the play-in teams. Portland, Sac, um, Golden State, and the Dallas Mavericks missing out on the playoffs. It's exciting. Playoffs are awesome. Um, so I will post that. I will write that in the article. Um, I'd love this to cause some commotion. I'm sure there's teams who are in the play-in range that have much higher aspirations than that. I'm sure there are teams who have been locked out of the playoffs who have gripes about where I place them. Um, let me know your thoughts. Let's talk about it. Very exciting. We've got NBA action back in about 3 weeks' time. And after that NBA season starts, I think it's about a 2 week buffer. And then our timeline starts again and we're back in the thick of the NSL action. Thank you for listening. All the best. Good luck to all the teams. Let me know what you think about the rankings or the playoff picture. Thank you. See you.